I want to say a special shout out to CMS Wellness for letting us shoot this miraculous podcast. You see all this beautiful, look at this, man. So much growth, so much power, so much empowerment. Episodes dropping ASAP once it gets edited up. But London, CMS Wellness, pull up if you haven't. Can't wait till you guys see this episode. Peace. Please introduce yourself and, who you are, what you do, a little bit more, what you told me.
All right, my name is Bruce McCall. I'm 35. I work currently for Long Beach Transit. So I'm a supervisor there. I've been there for about 7 years.
Yeah.
From my personal life, I'm a founder of Urban Reset Foundation, which is just a grassroots nonprofit, kind of just working with youth, adolescents, and just those at risk, trying to be more, just giving them better opportunities, knowing that I kind of had the mentorship and the people that came into my life at a young age really made an impact on just giving me an opportunity beyond what I saw.
Yeah.
So I try to just do that, have a good time doing it, and then we just hold annual events during the holidays, and then hold different workshops to kind of just provide services and encouragement for those that might not have what I have or have growing up. So I've been doing that for about 7 years now. So right now we're gearing up for Thanksgiving, just one of my favorite holidays, just to give back food and different things. So yeah, that's kind of what I do.
It's funny, I was listening to a podcast or watching one of my podcast episodes from like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, maybe even 6 now, before I moved out here. And I had my homie, shout out to LeVar, Notes, Lee, shout out to Jamie. We had like a men's podcast episode, and I really didn't even know that I've been thinking about having like a men's group or somewhere where men could just confide in each other from way back then. But I feel like a lot of people in my community, men specifically, we've been going through certain things and feeling certain ways about life, good, bad, and indifferent, but haven't had real ways to express them. And there was a week where I just had multiple conversations with men that I respect in my life, and it was just like, yo, we need somewhere to talk. We need somewhere to be vulnerable and have conversations and feel like we can just allow ourselves to be without some type of filter or idea about us. And I was like, yo, you know what? I'm gonna just start this. The GoodFellows Fellowship is just here to have men come together, disengage the egos, talk vulnerably with each other, and really develop some type of community or brotherhood. So I appreciate you for being one of the first people here.
No problem.
One of the first questions I've asked anyone that's either going to be speaking or be a part of or just pull up is, what does being a man mean to you?
I think it's like you talked about, kind of accountability.
Yeah.
Taking ownership. I think that's the first thing. I think watching my dad and seeing different images of what men is, it's going through different things, whether it's relationships or working or vulnerabilities, and just understanding like the ability to be able to be accountable to that.
Yeah.
Right. So I think being a man for me is just showing up, continuing to learn and grow, and then beyond that aspect of being a provider, protector, those are just like the foundational things. But yeah, I think it's just being able to show up and be of support. But the main thing is just to be accountable for the actions and the emotions that you express to people and the space that you open up.
Okay, so appreciate that. Second question I ask people is, what do you look for in a community or a brotherhood?
I think like we were talking about, just consistency.
Yeah.
I think as a man, it's you get those impulses to do different things or to be something or want something and or something to grow from.
Yeah.
But I think being consistent in some type of fellowship or even a friendship, you know, as guys, we go through things, whether it's relationships or work environments and different things, different settings. But I think just being able to be consistent and be accountable, like I said, in whatever we're going through, to be able to come together, you know. So I think it's just honestly creating a safe space. I think that'll be to where, okay, like if everything is going great, I can talk to my brother. If I'm at my lowest, I feel like they're gonna be there to support me and lift me up just the same, because I know that ultimately they just want to make sure that I'm healthy and I'm okay.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
just a safe space, as well as consistency to make sure I'm okay.
Okay. With the work that I put in, I get really good compliments on like how I treat people or how people act. And I'm not saying everybody, but for the majority of people around me. And I always just say like I want to be the man that I was looking for when I was a kid. Like when I'm talking to these kids or talking to people in my community now, I'm just like, all right, if I was them and they came to me and asked me for advice, what would be the best, most uplifting and positive advice I can give them to not crush their dreams, but to empower them to fulfill their dreams? And 9 times out of 10, it empowers me even more because I'm like, damn, I'm speaking like that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I came from my mouth, and you came to me for that type of advice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's what being a man is, and you know, yeah. So I think that's what being a man is. Being a man in the community, being a man of the people, being a man of your word, being honest, transparent, honorable, accountable, and vulnerable. You know. And I think what I look for in a community or a brotherhood is accountability. Like, I need people that's, even if we're in total different industries, doing different things, we have this frequency though.
Yeah.
Like, you're doing your thing, I'm doing my thing, but when we check in, we are on the same wavelength, going the same speed, the same, you know, and, you know, people who just are on the same mindset that I'm on as a man right now. And again, focusing on my mental, my spiritual, my physical, my financial, my emotional, and my business is my lanes. So if you fall into trajectory with any of that, and we align, then that's what I look for in the community. I talk to you all day about some business or working out or cooking some good food or something. You know what I'm saying? So, So I guess that's what I look for. Thanks for pulling that, Luna. I appreciate that.
I think the first thing that we should start with here is just to finish this sentence of, if you really knew me, you'd know.
Okay. All right.
And you fill in the blank.
All right.
All right. If you really knew me, you'd know just that I care about people. I think I'm selfless when it comes to that. A dynamic, hardworking. And just wanting to have fun. Just a genuine person. I think that's where I want you to know that, you know, I show up for you. You know what I'm saying? Probably more than I need to. But yeah, just being a person of service. You know what I mean? So that's what I would say.
Before I answer, can I ask a double-edged sword?
Yeah, go for it.
Has there been a situation that you've been in where you were there for someone and it was detrimental to your well-being?
For sure. I think that's the accountability part. I think it's easy to be selfless, because if the result is just to really make sure that person is okay, you know. So I think for me, I've had to understand empathy more for myself than others, right? I think genetically, I'm like, I want to help. But I think I have to like look at myself and be like, hey, is this something that beyond reaching out to make sure that they're okay, beyond that, like, am I able to make sure that I'm able to fulfill whatever service or just encouragement that they need, you know? So there's definitely been times to where, you know, it's been more than I bit off just trying to just help. I took that personally to where I'm like, it's a me thing, you know?
So for me, right, same thing. Like, I overextend myself. So like, I say yes to everything, and then when it's time to actually do it, I don't have enough time to do it.
No way.
Right?
Yeah.
And I realized that lately, and I'm like, I need to be. I think it's better for me to say no.
Yeah.
To save our relationship and what we have going on versus to sign up for something that I can't fulfill to the best ability.
Yeah.
Right. So now, like, a coping mechanism that I've developed is, when you tell me something, before I just be like, hell yeah, let's go, I'll be like, yo, let me get back to you.
Yeah.
Give me a second. I'm gonna holler at you tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Give me 24 hours to really process that. As much as I want to jump on and do this, let me think about it real quick.
I get you.
You know what I'm saying? And it's been getting better.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still work in progress, right? But do you have anything that you do to
I think I've been working on that too. I think the word I use is balance. So for me, it's be same type of context, but just balance. I think instead of I feel like a lot of times when people bring problems to you, a lot of the times they have the answers for them already.
Yeah.
They just really wanted to get that reassurance that somebody's either supporting them, listening to them, or they just want to talk.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I see it, and it's none of those options are bad. But I think for me, like, I reiterate what it is that they need from me, and then I ask, okay, like, and if it's something that I already off top know, there's just the image comes in my head to where I can't do it, I start talking about options to where I can assist them in the ways that I know for sure that I can.
Yeah.
Right? Because same way with you, like, yes, oh, let's figure this out. Oh, you got, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I've learned that, like, it's detrimental because you put all this confidence in me, where in reality, sometimes you might know that I'm just gonna say yes.
Yeah.
So, and I can't be mad at you because you think I'm supportive. So,
Yeah.
I think, like you said, just that aspect of, like, where you've that's a skill.
Yeah.
Saying no is a skill, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
But so for me, instead of saying no, I like talk it out. Like, okay, what is it that you need from me? And then if off top, I'm like, there's no way I can fit that in what I have going on. Like, let's figure out what I can do right now to support you in the best way that I can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I like that. For me, if you knew me, one thing you'd know is that I actually care. You feel me? Like, I be giving a fuck. You know what I'm saying?
That's big.
Like, if you hurting and you come out and I care about you,
Yeah.
your hurt has now become my hurt.
Yeah.
Or like your success has become my success. And you know, like, and I even have to do a better job of controlling that.
Yeah.
Because, you know,
that's that. Yeah.
Yeah, people will come to you and just feel like they can offload everything on you because you're a good listener.
Yep.
And you like, bro, I can
now
listen.
And now they're fine. Yeah.
Nah, they all good, right? You know what I'm saying? So I'm really, I'll give you the shirt off my back, and really that come from like my mom.
Yeah.
You know, like seeing her as I was growing up, if she was down to her last, she would still give it just because she cared about the relationship that much. Yeah, we had to switch locations. The phone was going crazy. The conversation was getting too hot. Shout out to my moms. I love you. Okay.
3 months from now, it'll be February.
Yeah.
So you're starting this series now.
Yeah.
And why don't you tell us a little bit of the intentions of the series?
Oh yeah. So the intentions of the series is to disengage the egoism between men. I feel like just growing up in life, I've lost good people due to miscommunication, whether that's them getting killed, whether going to jail, whether just falling outs in life. And I feel like if we just had an opportunity to communicate with each other out of love, express where we felt that we were hurt or harmed, and find a way to resolve it and continue the relationship, I think a lot of people would be the world would be in a better place. Forget like even my little community or big community, but just the world. So creating this, I just want to find not even men, boys and men, because I think there is a separation between how the older generation thinks versus the younger generation. And I want the old to teach the young, but I really want the young to teach the old too. So just opening the space for men, because we need to teach each other how to grow in this world that's becoming unknown to the ideal stereotypical way that a man used to be portrayed. Like it used to be, you know, the man called all the shots and ran the rules and was the primary provider of the house. It's not like that anymore. So how do we recalibrate and move forward in today's environment in a more powerful and uplifting manner? So that's kind of why I created that. I don't know if you got any thoughts based off of that perspective. I don't know if you know the backdrop of why that.
Yeah, no, I think I agree. I think that's a big part. I think, like you said, that dynamic of like the young teaching older, the older teaching younger. I think as a man, and even as a young boy, like you want to look up to something, right? So I think for the young ones, my idea is so that somebody, if not can see me, they can see one of my friends at an event doing something to where it makes them get a connection, right? So I think, like you said, just a brotherhood. I think overall being in a position to where you want to unload in a sense, but we know how to navigate through it as the brother, you know. So it might, one person might be, for sure, there's always those different characteristics and qualities to where you might be a better listener than one of our other brothers, but like another one is able to understand it better than you can. So you listened, you said it, he understood it. This person is better at delivery, right? To where they might come off a little bit more sensitive and understanding. So I think just that, coming up and having those parts of just, you know, like you said, the ego for a man is huge, even when like your intention is good, right? It might come off to where I know everything, where in reality, I'm confident because I've been through it. I just don't want you to go through it, you know? So, like you said, I think it's a great cause, and I think over the weeks, just getting the different tools will be great. But, you know.
Do you feel like you've been in a position where you had to disarm your ego to communicate clearly to someone that you cared about?
For sure. I think.
How?
I think from a perspective of man and talking to a woman, I think you have to listen. I think everybody is different, right? And that's the part, I think, of being accountable to where, for me, the emotional intelligence I've learned, like, and that has been taught from my father, being serving of everybody, but then learning, like you said, taking on their load, right? So I saw him and I'm like, the thing, I don't want to be like that. I want to be like and have the heart like him, but I don't want the strain and understanding that he had to go through. He taught me now, right? So I think just that natural reoccurring, like, I don't want to keep going through this. So the best thing to do is to look to deal with each person individually, right? And I think from that part is just like coming to a space to where it's like, all right, well, how do they need me? Like how we just talked about. How is it that you need me? And then like from that, do I even have what you're asking me, right? I have the ability to listen for sure, but the rest of it, I think that you have it. But let's figure out how I can support you, you know. So yeah.
What you got?
You're talking about a lot of like healing modalities. So therapy, where does that fall in your current life?
Yeah. So I think therapy is huge. I feel like I've had different therapists through my life. My first therapist actually saved my life. It was actually court ordered. I got into some real big trouble, and I had to sit down in front of the judge. And this one I was like in like middle school, high school type thing, like, and she was getting ready to send me to juvie or something, and she was just like, man, I'm gonna give you one more shot. And I was like court ordered to go to therapy, and for 2 years, and I had to play a sport. So my mom enrolled me in basketball, which also changed my life. And the therapy sessions every Thursday, right there, that taught me how to articulate how I felt. And more so, articulate that I'm frustrated a lot of times, and I didn't even know I was frustrated. So a lot of the altercations I would get into as a kid, it was just me not knowing how to use my mouth and communicate. So I would use my fists. And by going to a therapist, well, one, you can't hit no therapist, right? But two, just the practice and the tools, even the smallest of things, just taught me like, oh man, if you just said this versus did this, you will be in it. So I think therapy is huge in all facets. I definitely have a couple of therapists coming to come pull up and talk to the group. And I shout my boy all the time. His name is Splash. He went and got his master's to be licensed social worker and therapist, and he has a brand called Seek Therapy where he got merch, he got books, he got clothes, and just opened up a grocery store, like, you know what I'm saying, in the hood for real.
That's big.
Yeah. So got a card game. I should have brought the card games. I'll put it in the next one, but just when you're around people like that, you see like how important it is. Like if you just get someone to help you just train your mind to focus on the things that you can achieve, what can be done, you know, much less being one. So I think therapy is super important, especially coming from like a West Indian background where we don't believe in therapy. It's kind of just like go through, and that's probably for every religion, race, ethnic group background, but the one that I know ain't no therapy. You go and you just do what you gotta do. So this, I think that's imperative. Yeah. So,
No, I think therapy is big.
Yeah.
I think the same way as you said, growing up, just the background, church and different things, everything is kind of spiritual based and different things. And so if a therapist isn't spiritual based, then you're getting the wrong information. So
yeah.
I think as I grew up, the same way, like I just learned to kind of take in all my emotions, the traumas and different things. And then it wasn't until like I had a serious breakup to where I was like, okay, I need some therapy,
Yeah.
you know? And then I think for me, that accountability of like, it can't just be her in this relationship, it has to be something that I'm doing and understanding like that. I want to be able to better communicate. I want to be able to not have to be pleasing in a sense to where I can't communicate how I feel,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's from just the dynamic of my mom being so kind of tough to where we never had those deep conversations. So when it came to the relationships with women that I had, I didn't know how to talk about things that were like sensitive to me,
Yeah.
but I understood when it came to them because I had sisters. So I think that when I had a therapist, you know, he taught me how to understand how important my voice was, but then to still have that sustainability to where it's like what they're saying to me is important too, what their needs are important, but ultimately like you not being somebody's happiness, but understanding that you can attribute to their happiness. Yeah. So I think therapy it hurts you a lot because you have to face that trauma, and then which means you have to relive what you thought you actually moved forward from, but you actually just kind of like stepped over it a little bit, right? To come back to it later. So I think therapy is needed. I think it should be a resource that we allow men, women to have the opportunity to do. But like you say, your friend, just that's a big thing. You know what I mean? Understanding that there's a need, we all do that. But then understanding that I have to get the education to be able to give them the tools, it's like even bigger, you know? So I'm a fan, I'm a supporter of therapy. I feel like it gives you an opportunity, like you said, for you. Like it changed your life. You didn't think it was, you didn't want it to, but at the same time, like she didn't give you a choice. You know what I mean? And in that choice, you made a choice. So.
Just to go off of that real quick, like when you think about therapy, and not even in the sense of like going to a therapist, but in your group, in your community, what are some things that you contribute or try to do in a therapeutic way to have a healthy relationship with people in your group?
I think it's meeting people where they're at, right? So a lot of my friends are into different things, whether it's art, music. There's so many different therapeutic tools, and I think that's the thing. It's not, a lot of people look at it as you're sitting on the couch, there's a notepad, that's the general thing, where in reality it's just a conversation, right? It's opening up, saying that in hopes that every therapist isn't the correct one for you, but just in that space to where you can open up to them, and then they understand that it's nothing personal. It's let's talk about how we can make this better. So I think for me, meeting people where they're at and knowing what they like and trying to acclimate myself with the things that they like to do, if it's within a healthy space, right? If it's art, I can't draw at all, but in my mind I can see it. So it's using their tools to say, okay, this is what I see. How are you able to connect these things, right? And then from there, it's like, you know, that's how I look at it. So I learned a new task. I built a connection with you, but then at the same time, like, it also gives me a better tool to where when I go to somebody else that's having an issue, instead of the way that I usually deal with it, I now have a new task to say, hey, like my friend taught me how to use art therapy to help them out. You know, are you expressive in this way? Do you see colors or different things in this way? Because I don't know, but let's see if it's a tool. So it just gives you more options to be able for them not to say no. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I do it, just to meet them where they're at is the kind of the saying that I use, and then with that, just being open to how they're able to be in a healthy space.
One thing for me, I realized that I have a thing of like cutting people off. And even if I care, I'll cut it and let it go. And I really been trying to work on that as a person. So one thing that I've incorporated is throughout the week, if I think about someone, I write their name down, and then on Sundays I call them and just be like, hey man, I was just thinking about you. Hope all is well. And that probably isn't gonna be the thing that fixes me as far as like keeping the relationships and not, but it's a start for me to at least keeping it together. Like keeping that bridge in formation. So, you know, that's something that's therapeutic to me. Like every Sunday when I'm cleaning out the house and doing my groceries and making my phone calls, even if I get to 3 or 4 people, I'm like, bro, like my Sunday has been fulfilled.
Yeah, it's a connection.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Not to bring it back to therapy, but I think it'd be important for people to hear in kind of a short sentence or two, like a true invitation of therapy's been successful for you, but there are a lot of people, and specifically men and maybe even men of color in this age bracket, that haven't heard the invitation to that it is okay coming from a person that looks like you, because it has a negative stigma of either you need to be this low in life to need it, or that's feelings, that's emotions, that's not masculine.
Go first.
Yeah, you want to go first? You want me to
Go
go?
ahead. Go ahead. I feel it. Go ahead. I'll piggyback.
Yeah, man. I think again, whether it's an actual therapist that got licensed and is accredited and you can sit down, or you build a community within yourself of peers who you feel like can hold you accountable, and you could go to them and you could release things and find out solutions. Like, no, like this is a problem. I need to figure out a way to fix it. I think that's all needed and accepted in the Black and brown community specifically now. You know, like a lot of my friends are becoming social workers or therapists because they know that a lot of our problems come because we're not educated on how to evaluate our emotions in certain times. Like it's either fight or flight or survival or, you know, the crab in the barrel. And it's like, that's the thing that's one, segregating us and dividing us and killing us. But if we're able to just adjust that. So again, therapy is good with me, you know. If it isn't an accredited, just fine. You only need 2 or 3 people. And, you know, like I just met a bro and this right here is therapeutic for me. Just having this conversation with someone who I feel like understands, and again, the same frequency, right? You're right. So I think find your therapy. You know,
that's good. Piggybacking, I feel like the same. I agree. I think therapy is necessary. I think the thing for me is trying to make it cool, right? And so I was saying is there's so many different, there's so many things that are therapeutic to where I think as an older generation or somebody that has the knowledge that you've been through some things, just to reassure people that it's okay, right? And then I think a lot of the times you want to be able to articulate whatever it is that you feel, or that's the therapy. I can't explain how I feel. So I think the best way therapists can get to you is by asking you a question, right? She asked us the question that resonated to us, to where somehow, some way, fashion, it hits you in a certain point, right? So I think talking and just getting kids to talking. So the events that I have or I try to hold, the structure part of it is, hi, this is me, this is what I am, but the space that you're in now is just to have a good time. If it's to focus on this speaker or whatever it is, it's to give them instructions, but overall, I want that connection to be that they remember something that was a safe space, or were able to talk to me, or whatever it was, and then move from that. So I think we can use so many different things to where resources, right? What you hit on, what I think is the most important, to where you don't know how to angle that anger, right? So where instead of like using your fists or using your hands or whatever, you don't want to go talk to the teacher because that might show a sign of weakness right there. So how do you do that, right? So I think with a therapist, the easiest thing they can teach you to do is breathe, right? So that breathing is the most important thing, because in that breathing, you're making a decision to not do bad, right? And then from there, that's the next step. But the first step is just realization of understanding, like, and then that you don't need a therapist for that, right? But I think having individuals like us, and also coaches and parents that understand to give them a moment, will allow them then to have that control to be confident, to maybe go talk to a therapist, to maybe sit down and say, hey, like, I like the way that you're dealing with this, but I'm gonna give you some tools so that when we come back next week, you can tell me about an incident that happened that might have helped you.
Absolutely.
You know, so I'm an advocate of it. I'm a supporter of it. I just think that we need to have people beyond therapists to trust and believe that, you know, that the kids want some help. You know?
What are some other healing modalities aside from therapy that you use to get back to your good day or your good season?
I'll let you say that one.
For me, just prayer. I believe just my connection with God and understanding like that's meditating. That for me, that gives me back to like a healing place. Just because it kind of makes me, it doesn't make me feel mightier than then. It just kind of it makes me realize that I'm human. You know, so that automatically takes off the weight of like, I don't have to be perfect, just a good man for the world. And then just enjoying like the little things, right? For me, healing thing, as crazy as it sounds, is going to work, right? Finding a space to where like I could be doing so many other things. It's therapeutic in a sense to be able to have control over the little things that I'm doing, whether it's work and whatever, and then still be able to just be at work and like, man, I got a job still. This is real cool, right? All the places that I could have been, I'm not there. Let me go ahead and help. So it's just therapeutic. And then like you said, just helping people and being like able to like tell them the good things that are going on and like the spaces that we can open up, it's therapeutic for me, you know. So
I'm figuring that out still, you know, like I've been having some revelations these last few weeks, but I'm learning how to be okay with having a feeling but not accepting it, right?
Okay.
So like growing up, I always felt like I was in a fight or flight mindset, like a do or die, right?
Yeah.
And as you get older, you still, since it was embedded from a youth, you still hang on to those feelings. But where I'm at right now, I'm realizing that there's nothing in my life that requires me to still have that.
That's big.
You know, right? So
why,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
And but it's crazy that I still have it though. And I'm not saying lose it. You should still have your.
It's nature though. That's nature for you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You should still have your instincts.
Yeah.
But they do have to improve to make your livelihood better.
Yeah, well, nurture part.
Yeah, absolutely. So
you're nurturing your life right now.
Yeah.
But nature tells you like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's real.
You know, so what I've been doing is getting up, and before I even hit the ground, I thank God, and before my feet touch the ground, I want to make sure that I feel secure in here. And then I've been tapping into a bunch of audio, so like Jim Rohn, Esther Hicks, podcasts, just about. And at first I would listen to like business podcasts first thing in the morning, because that's where my mind be at most of the times. But now I've been trying to focus on more like emotional intelligence podcasts. So like, even like Diary of a CEO, even though it's business, it's like the mindset of the CEO, not the business daily, you know, or the Lewis Howell podcast or something like that. I'm listening to Tribal Leadership right now, so like certain books, and just whatever to like fuel my brain. Before I go into work or office or a meeting, I'm sturdy. I could get through the day, you know.
Well, you were tapping into your morning routine, which I think is very foundational.
Yeah.
So, do you have a morning routine?
Not really. I mean, beyond, like you said, I started doing more like daily devotionals, and that's just praying, reading the scripture. I have a book that's like a daily scripture, like, and it gives you for men, and it just outlines something that's motivational, speaking and tapping in with God, and just so that gives me kind of like that, like, okay, it gets my mind going. And other than that, I've been working out lately, so that's been my piece. Being consistent with that, so not allowing everything else, or even one of my closest friends who kind of got me into working out again, even if he having an off day, I encourage him and I go work out. So I think that regimen has just been cool, and it's been a shift. So yeah, and then just making sure my family's good, and then getting to work. That's kind of the regimen.
I gotta add you to my sweat check. So again, I'm really, really big right now on focusing on the 6 pillars that I mentioned. And the reason being is because I feel like if people are more even kill
Mm-hmm.
all across the board versus high in some and low in others,
Mm-hmm.
the world would be a better place.
For sure.
So like I talk about like glasses. So if you have 6 glasses and you name one mental and spiritual and physical and financial, emotional and business, rather than business being full to the top and emotional being at the bottom,
Yeah.
and then finances being like a third of the way, it's like no, they're all like halfway full. So one of the things we do is called sweat checks, and it's just an accountability group where we tag each other on Instagram every day. Like every day we working out, we tag, and I probably got like 20 people that I'll be tagging right now. I'll be like on Instagram trying to remember everybody. I'll be like, damn, bro, like, but I should tag you to that, man. I think that'd be cool. And if you ever want to get a workout in, more than welcome. We do training as well, and got products and supplements and all that goodness gracious. I think we're gonna wrap here.
I think I want one more, and this one's more for me. I just want to know, what is the difference between community and fellowship to you?
Yeah. So I think community is a part of where you are. So right now we're in the community in Compton. Fellowship is people within those communities coming together and deciding to make either the community better or their community better. So right now, I'm finding brothers who are like, I'm from this space and this space and this space, and the outside might look like this, and that's the community I'm in. But I want to find people that's in there that's like, hey, this could be a little bit better, we could be a little bit better, you know, the kids could be a little bit better. How are we gonna come together and we're gonna work in arms, and we're gonna go back into the community and raise the awareness and the vibration. So I think that's what I think the difference is.
Similar. I feel like that community aspect is just as a whole in a certain space, and then fellowship. I kind of think it like you have a fellowship hall. Same thing. Like it's opening up a space to where you know that you're going to talk about things that are happening within the community, right? So it's a group, like you said, a group of people or a group collective of people to where they are open to talking about something that could probably better what's going on the outside of this group, right? So that's how I kind of look at it.
2 things I want to do. One, I want to apologize to you because I was driving in a car and I felt like shit, and this is why. It might be an apology to myself and to you at the same time. So, you know, I've been promoting the fellowship and getting people to say, I'm gonna pull up, I'm gonna be here, and then I'm realizing as the day up comes, people say it, but they might not appear. So, you know, I reached out to everyone the night before, like, hey, can't wait to see you guys tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't get any responses back. Or I got I'll catch you later, or whatever, or I might be able to pull up. And so this morning when I wake up, I'm kind of like in a little funk, because I'm like, damn, I'm trying to do this for the community. I'm trying to do this for us. Maybe I'm selfishly trying to do this for me, like whatever, but, and where is the people who said that they want to change? And as I'm getting ready to come, like, I'm still gonna come and do it anyways. And I was like, even if it's by myself, I'm gonna just interview myself. And on the way here, Lacey calls me and she's like, hey, you know, I got my boy Bruce, he's about to be there. And as I hung up, I just beat myself up. Cause I'm like, yo, how dare you just doubt that nobody gonna pull up? And by you doubting that nobody gonna pull up, now you late to your own shit. You got bro out here in the parking lot chilling, waiting, and it's but so I appreciate the grace, but you know, but definitely wanna.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah,
you're good. Now accountability moving forward.
Yeah.
Is different. But no, man, I think, like I told you, I did a podcast recently, and I think it's hard, man. It's hard. I think the accountability part, you know, it's okay, man. It's okay. I think I learned, seen enough spaces where as long as you get here safely and you communicate, we good. Just communicate with me. You know, you have grace to be human. You know what I mean? So we made it. You made the first one. You made it happen. So I appreciate you just opening up a space and setting up some curriculum, and I'm with it.
Two things.
Okay.
This is really great to see. So if you had to put it in short, what you offer now to this series, it would be?
Just honesty, I think, and then just positivity. You know, I think it's you're going to get a lot of negative banter when it comes to just men coming together to talk, whether it's from women or coming from, thank you for being here as well, but women come or men or kids. So I think just staying positive and looking for support and continuing that support is necessary, you know? So for me, it's just making sure that whatever is happening, like, I'm continuing to encourage him to keep pushing forward, even when it seems like nothing is happening. Like, I'm big on opportunities, right? Like, you might not get the position, but like, you got the opportunity, which somebody else saw you do very well in that, and they want you for what they have going on. So I really think that it's big to do that. So just a positive nature, you know.
That was fire.
There's I believe, some sort of pledge that I think needs to be solidified and heard, if not just even to yourselves out loud, of committing to this movement.
Yeah, so Trell, I definitely pledge to commit to the movement, but commit to it in its highest capacity. So today was a lesson for me to realize, like, no matter what, if it's you by yourself, get it done and the people will come and you'll build the community together. So I pledge to make this cohort go for the 8 weeks that it's supposed to, on time, on date, with the speakers, and I pledge to make sure that by the end of this cohort, whoever is a part of feels that they've gained another community, a brotherhood, but then also self-accountability for themselves. So I pledge that.
For me, I pledge just the dates that I was available. I'll definitely show up, and just be accountable to you. You know, I feel like this is your vision. For me, is just to be of support to you in any capacity, and then in that space, just being able to where you can feel comfortable to like saying, hey, this is what I need from you, right? So I believe in what you're doing and the experience and all the different things. So I pledge to just being available, to being able to make sure I can help in whatever capacity.
Thank you.
I got you.
Appreciate you.
I got you.
Before, I don't think we grabbed your name. We just went straight into a conversation.
Yeah. Well, I think I introduced myself.
Okay.
I'm Bruce, though. I'm Bruce.
Okay.
This is a bonus round.
Yeah, we gonna make sure we tag that. Okay, bonus round.
Yeah. So feet planted, sit upright, and shoulders.
Oh
back.
wait. So before you do the bonus round, then let me say, brothers, if there's any one of y'all that are looking to find people who ain't gonna take your bullshit, who are gonna hold you to a certain degree to be a better brother, father, son, community member, business owner, entrepreneur, dancer, singer, I don't give a fuck what you do. Excuse my language. Not really. But this is for you. We're gonna open it up virtually. It's gonna be something where people could tap in through Zoom or some other platform. We just had to get the first ones out the way, but I'm literally putting this together to build a community of brothers who we can end up doing some big things together. You're gonna meet other business owners in here. You're gonna be able to possibly have your products sold in here from some type of networking or affiliate programming or whatever the case it builds to it. But more importantly, you're gonna find people that care about you, like you care about you or care about them. So tap in with me if you got any questions. But let's get to the bonus round. Okay.
In this round, sitting upright, and you can choose to close your eyes or stare at a stable point. But it is February, and it's 2025. For the next few breaths, see yourself physically. Open that bank account. Where is it at? What are you driving? What are you eating? Who are you talking to? Where are you? And it's the last series. And you've showed up the best you can. And you've met some really, really great people. And you've acquired the knowledge and you've had the conversations and you even have the content. And now you can take a few more breaths in silence and then share in a few sentences only from a space of I am. As if describing it in that day.
Okay. Yep.
It's February 2025.
Yep. I am fulfilled. I am secure. I am powerful. I am community. I am in a really, really good, abundant, and graceful place mentally, spiritually, physically, financially, emotionally, and in business. That's what I got.
That was good. I am just safe, right? I think I'm safe, understanding, happy, proud, strong. And I think just accountability-wise, as far as finances, I'm comfortable. Right? Yeah, just as far as community, business, just pleased, right? So, yeah, not feeling like I have to hold on tight to anything that I can't control. Yeah.
Okay. I'm proud of you, my man.
Thanks, you too, bro.
Absolutely.
Let's make it happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
That was good, man.
That's good.
That was good.